This is the Baseline Facetime Podcast, and we've got another great episode coming at you right now. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to this episode of the Baseline Facetime Podcast. And if you are watching by chance, you might see a familiar face on the pod. And if you're listening, he's back.
Yeah, it's a throwback episode, huh?
Manny is back on the pod, a throwback episode. And we're actually going to get into the details of why that is right now and why Manny's on the pod.
Yeah, so I was scrolling through the YouTube, just checking the old Baseline FaceTime videos and stuff like that, and then I noticed it said 11 months ago since our first ever episode that we did about The Last Dance. And then to go more in depth, once you click on the video, you scroll down to where all the details are, you could see that it was May 26th is when we did the first ever episode. So that's coming up on a year from
May
today.
26th. Today's May 15th, recording Saturday, May 15th. And, been almost a year, so Manny's back.
Did I miss anything?
For the 1 year celebration, I mean, you missed a little bit here and there. Another reason that we are just excited about...
Playoffs?
Yes.
Okay.
Playoffs are coming, but big announcement. You might have seen something on Instagram if you follow us over there. If not, big announcement, I said, is coming soon, and it is coming right now. So this is actually the final episode of the Baseline Facetime Podcast. The final episode, the last dance, if you will.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because I am moving on to another pod, transitioning to a 76ers podcast with Michael from Trust the Love. He was on quite a few episodes back, and we said, you know what? We're going to run it. We're going to start a new podcast focused on the 76ers. If you've been a fan of the show for any amount of time, you're aware that I'm a 76ers fan. And so I just thought it best for myself and for just the future of my involvement in the podcast world to jump over there and take advantage of that opportunity. So transitioning, the name of the podcast is Planet 76.
Planet 76. That actually sounds pretty fire.
Planet 76. And so that's going to be starting up next week. Prior to the playoffs beginning, so decided what a better time to jump on some 76ers news and notes and predictions and all of that stuff. Injuries, hopefully not, in time for the playoffs. And so, but I promise, I get that that's right before the playoffs, so it's like, what the heck? But you should transition over there with me, again, and with Michael over there. And, we're going to cover, of course, the Sixers. We're going to cover a little bit more of that, especially in the playoffs. We'll cover all of the news and notes in the series and things like that. So if you're looking forward to that, I hope you are. You can follow me over there. I'll probably post some stuff on the Baseline Facetime Podcast Instagram just to, again, hopefully pull some of you guys over there to transition with me. Pretty cool.
I'm super excited, and I can't wait to hear the first episode of Planet 76. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. I haven't met, what's his name, Michael?
Yep.
All right, I think you guys will do very well. You guys sound like you guys enjoy doing things.
Yeah, man.
And,
I'm excited.
What do you want to talk about? Oh, real quick, we need to get into this.
Okay.
What's your legal name?
My legal name?
Yeah, your full legal
Troy?
name.
My full name, Troy Dallas Van Camp.
I just discovered that Dallas was a part of your name. That's gold. I'm just going to call you Dallas from now on.
Yep. That's the name. That's the name. You can thank my dad for that or blame my dad for that.
I'll thank him because it's pure comedy gold.
It is good.
All right.
Is good. So this is it. Last Dance. Manny had to be here for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. We were just texting. I was like, you know what? Because I was going to record this last episode either the day of the end of the regular season or the eve of the day of the regular season, and that's today. NBA regular season wraps up tomorrow, May 16th, and so Manny's on for this. We're gonna walk through some standings, go through some. We'll give out some awards even. The NBA regular season awards for MVP, Coach of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, that kind of stuff. I'll let you give some of those out. We'll talk about how this play-in tournament's gonna work, and then I've got a funny story.
Please, because I don't even know how to play in tournament.
I've got a funny story coming about Damian Lillard. I don't know if you saw this, but we'll get to that toward the end of the pod. So, Manny, MVP.
Of the season?
Who are you thinking right now?
Oh, Embiid.
Embiid.
I'm not even gonna.
My man.
Not even gonna. And that's not me. Like, just sugarcoating it because you're like a 76ers fan. He had a phenomenal season.
He did have a phenomenal season. I would love to see Embiid win it. I think it's going to be Jokic. That's the way it seems to be going. But that would be cool. That would be cool.
So,
I also heard something interesting. So they're both centers.
Yeah.
First team All-NBA only has a spot for one center. But they did something. I don't know if this is normal. They did something this year or most years to where they both can make All-NBA first team. So most likely, again, if they can, then they probably will because they're going to be 1 and 2 in the MVP voting. So it's looking like Embiid and Jokic will both finish on the All-NBA first team, even though they both play center.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that the first time 2 centers have ever done that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is a new thing, but pretty interesting to see those guys and what they've been able to do this year.
So does that mean the game, I guess the center position isn't dead if you could be versatile now, huh?
Yeah.
I guess that's the new thing, huh?
Yeah, because they both can do it. I mean, Embiid is going to be, first team, well, probably second or third team All-NBA defense. He can do it down there. We know what Jokic does on the offensive end and his passing ability. He's a triple-double threat every single night. Almost averaged one this year, like Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double this year. Pretty amazing. So, yeah, MVP. What about Coach of the Year? I think this one's an easy one for me. I'm taking Monty Williams in Phoenix.
Phoenix had a good season.
Yeah.
For me, I would give it to the Utah Jazz coach.
Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Yep. Phoenix is sitting at a game and a half back of the Jazz right now. 6th man of the year.
Let's just keep the theme going. Lou Williams.
You wish. I'm going Jordan Clarkson. Joe Ingles is another one in the running.
Yeah, Joe Ingles is a good one.
Which is interesting because they're on the same team. Right? Yeah. And so Jordan Clarkson's averaging 18 points a game this year for the Utah Jazz.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
off the bench.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. So he's having a season type year. That's me. Sorry about that. And he's having an all-time season for him. He's been in the league, I don't know how many years now. He started with the Cavs.
Who again?
Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson. I remember him as a Laker. I don't
True.
really.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for like a hot second. He was back when the Lakers weren't really the Lakers, but
he had his moments over there. Defensive Player of the Year, I got to go with my guy, Ben Simmons. Others in the running include Rudy Gobert, of course, and Bam Adebayo, kind of making a late push here. Self-proclaimed a little bit, just like Ben. There might be another one in the running, but I think it's really kind of between Simmons and Gobert.
I have a funny feeling it's going to be Ben Simmons just due to the fact that it could be Rudy Gobert every single year just due to the fact he is just a defensive monster. So, it could have been Michael Jordan every single year for MVP, but the league has to do something different. So, therefore, I believe Ben Simmons does deserve it, and we don't want to discredit what he's been doing defensively.
Yeah, and he's doing it a different way, kind of like Kawhi back with the Spurs. Almost every year, Defensive Player of the Year goes to a big man that locks down the paint. Simmons is, quote-unquote, a point guard and is able to, he can guard 1 through 5. He really can, and he'll usually get the defensive assignment that's pinned on the other team's best player. Again, that's regardless of position. So he's had an incredible year. Matisse Thybulle has had an incredible year. He's getting all NBA defensive team votes. He comes off the bench. He plays maybe 20 minutes a game. I read that Matisse Thybulle, if he makes an all-NBA defensive team, would do so with the least amount of minutes played in NBA history.
Really?
Pretty significant stuff, yeah.
That means your efficiency rating on defense is absurd. That is crazy.
Well, he's if you watch the 76ers game, just watch it. He's amazing. His defensive awareness. I saw him check into a game last week, checked in off the bench, literally in the game for 4 seconds. He had a steal and a block.
Really?
Yeah, he blocked the guy, and then it went back to the same guy that shot it. He tried to pass it off. Matisse stole it. It was insane. And he does stuff like that all the time. He's just a pretty amazing defender, so shout out to him as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I discredited the Sixers ever since that shot with Kawhi in Toronto, and because you're such a big 76ers fan, I figured you were just filling the gaps. But I really wish I would have watched more of their games this season. 100%.
You'll have to check him out in the playoffs. Matisse Thybulle, unbelievable. Last couple. So we got most improved and we got rookie of the year. Most improved, I think, is an absolute lock in Julius Randle.
100%. There's no question. He brought New York to what New York is, what it used to be in the 90s. It is a New York. Cities embody their teams of how they are. Like New York, we're not the most flashy. They're not LA. It isn't Showtime, but they are tough. And I mean, having a defensive coach help out, and then Julius Randle just going absurd at practice and putting in all the extra hours in the gym on the off season, it definitely has shown.
Absolutely. So Julius Randle, shout out to him. Shout out to the Knicks, sitting where
I believe
4 or 5,
fourth.
4 or 5 right now in the Eastern Conference. Major shout outs to them. Actually, I think they're 6th because it's a logjam, and we'll get to that in the standings in a little bit. But 4, 5, and 6 between the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks. So the Knicks are currently at the 6th, but they're safe from that play-in tournament, which is really all you want if you're in that area. Rookie of the year. I know you're going with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Despite the injuries?
The injuries is a little sketch for me, but I mean, I think he shows great potential. I mean, he's been playing professionally, technically, as a teenager over in Lithuania, and you could definitely see when you're the younger brother, or if you have siblings, which you do, you have a brother, or anybody out there, like, if you're the youngest brother, you got a chip on your shoulder when you're trying to play catch-up with all your older brothers because they have either bigger muscles, or they're just faster than you, or just smarter than you just like a little bit, but you'll always play catch-up, and you'll always would seed that, I feel like, personally. So I think he's going to be a great promise for the future. Rookie of the year, up for debate. I personally, for me, rookie of the year.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be one of the closer calls, I think, in my opinion. Just given LaMelo's injury, he was clearly the front runner before the injury. I don't know how many games he missed exactly. He was ruled out for the year, I thought, and he wasn't, clearly.
I thought he was.
Yeah, so he's back. He's playing.
Okay.
He's got the Hornets sitting at the 8 right now, tied with Indiana. They are a lock in the play-in tournament. So Charlotte Hornets are in the quote-unquote playoffs-ish, sort of, whatever you want to classify that as. I actually heard that the statistics in the play-in tournament don't fall under regular season, and they don't fall under playoffs. It's just going to be a separate play-in tournament, whatever.
So
box score kind of thing.
We're gonna touch more into the play-in tournament because you're gonna have to break it down for me and whether or not you think it's a good thing for the league or whether or not it's a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously the other one in that rookie of the year debate is Anthony Edwards. I saw something on NBA.com. I don't know if they, like, the voters who vote for the rookie of the year are like involved in NBA.com in any way, but Anthony Edwards got passed, quote unquote, by LaMelo Ball like in the last week of the season for that award, at least according to them. So whatever you do with that should be a close race. I think Anthony Edwards is deserving as well, but just given the Timberwolves situation, not having a good year and the Hornets making at least the play-in tournament, LaMelo has kind of turned the city around down there in Charlotte. They got to be happy to have him. All right, play-in tournament. You mentioned that, how that is going to work. So in either conference, the 7 and the 8 seed at the end of the regular season, which again is tomorrow, the 7 and the 8 seed play each other.
Okay.
The winner of that 7-8 game gets the 7 seed.
Okay.
The 9 and 10 seeds play each other. The winner of that game plays the loser of the 7-8 game.
Okay.
Then the winner of that game gets the 8 seed. So if you're a 9 or 10 right now, you have to win 2 games.
Okay.
If you're a 7 or 8 right now, you only have to win 1, and you have 2 chances. Is the simplest way I can explain it. And most of the teams are locked into that situation right now. Eastern Conference is locked as to who's going to be in that play-in tournament. You got the Celtics, Hornets, Pacers, and Wizards.
Troy, sorry to cut you, but you did a phenomenal job explaining that play-in tournament better than people on ESPN. All right, continue. What were you saying?
So the East is a lock in terms of who's going to be there. Their seeding is not yet locked. But you got the Celtics, Hornets, Pacers, and Wizards. All right. And then the West you've got right now the Warriors, Grizzlies, and Spurs are all locked in, and they're going to be in the 8, 9, and 10 area. The Lakers currently sitting at the 7. So as of right now, the Lakers would play in the play-in tournament, but they are just a half game back of Portland. So I don't know. Portland has one more game. Lakers, I believe, have 2. They're playing right now, you said.
Yes.
So
They're playing the Pacers.
okay. So if I don't know exactly, Lakers win one of those, they might be.
So
if the Lakers win both,
they're
I don't know what the tiebreaker is though.
I feel like they would be a shoo-in, but if Portland loses one,
if Portland wins theirs, they're in.
Yeah, they're in, right?
Yeah, if Portland loses and the Lakers win both, then the Lakers are in.
Yeah,
are safe from the play-in.
So if Portland wins 1, as a Laker fan, we need to win 2. But if Portland doesn't win that, we just need to win 1.
Possibly. So that would give them, I think, a tie, which I don't know where it would go. I don't know what the tiebreaker is. It's going to be tight. You obviously want to avoid that play-in game, and that play-in game will possibly be a matchup with Steph Curry and the Warriors.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a 7-8 play-in? Winner plays the Suns. Yeah, winner plays the Suns in the first round.
I find it so funny. Even later on in their careers, LeBron and Steph are still going at it. Not in the finals, but just to be in the playoffs. I find that very humorous.
Yep.
But as a Lakers fan, this is not ideally how I thought this season would go.
No.
That back-to-back is looking a little sketchy right now. But AD is a guy who can definitely give you 30 a night. LeBron, I think we're finally starting to see that age play a big role now. I don't even know what Andre Drummond's doing.
Health is gonna play a factor in all of this.
100%. I believe Dennis Schroeder just got cleared, or maybe re-injured. I saw something about him. I've been trying to stay away, just getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But not really realizing where we were in the seeding until just like recently. This is kind of problematic because with that play-in tournament, again, if you just need one game to win, and like I think it's actually a good thing for the league to touch upon this because like it actually gives lower teams and ratings more of an incentive to try instead of just tanking. And if you think about it, is sometimes if all you need is to win one game, there's a guy in Golden State named Steph Curry that can win you one game, and next thing you know, you're in it. You know what I mean? And to boost the momentum of the team and the city around you. So I just don't like how LeBron cried about it now that he has to. That
was going to be my next point. So LeBron last year was all about it, all about this plan, thinks it's great for those teams, thinks it's great for the league because, well, of course, he never saw himself being in that situation. And, he said whoever comes up with that crap, except he didn't say crap, whoever comes up with that needs to be fired. You said it. LeBron, come on.
I love him. He is honestly one of the greatest players of all time.
Absolutely.
But if there's one thing I could knock LeBron for, stop the crying. Everything you have to cry about. Jordan didn't cry. Jordan sucked it up. You know what I mean? Just stop crying.
Yeah, for sure. So that's how that's going to play out. We'll get into the standings, but I got a story.
Okay.
Do I know the people involved in this story? No. Do I know the guy that tweeted this? Absolutely not. Do I know how true this is? Absolutely not.
So this could be fake news right now.
Could be fake news. Could be spreading fake news on the last episode of the Baseline Facetime Podcast. However,
it's a rumor report.
And I'm going to share it. So a guy on Twitter a month ago. This is kind of circling around, and you'll see why.
Oh, is this the fake podcast thing?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk about that.
A guy on Twitter a month ago tweeted at Damian Lillard, said, "How's your hamstring? I need you guys to win 42 games this year or I lose my house." A month ago, okay? He said, "I'm a huge fan even if I'm in the mansion or if I'm homeless." So obviously he had money on the Portland Trailblazers. Do we know how much money? Do we know if this is true? No, it's money to win 42 games. There's one game left for the Portland Trailblazers. Guess how many wins they have?
41.
41 wins. Lillard responded. He said, "Say less." Portland currently sitting with 41 wins, and they host the Denver Nuggets tomorrow night. A tough game. Denver has something to play for. They currently have the same record as the Clippers, so they can maintain that 3 seed. If they lose, they can fall to the 4. So they're trying to hold on. Again, Portland's trying to hold on to that 6 to avoid the play-in. this guy's going to lose his house if Denver beats them, right?
Well,
Or
Portland's hosting them, right?
yeah,
And Portland, here's the thing of
Portland needs
unfortunately,
it a little more.
Portland does need a little bit more, and not just because of that guy's house, just because they don't avoid the play-in tournament,
Yeah.
but like Portland, which is very unique, which I didn't realize, they still don't have fans in their stadium.
Okay.
So they're not going to have that energized from the crowd, which might actually hinder their ability to play a little bit or give them a little bit of an edge. But let's hope Dame Time can come through, and let's hope the big homie don't lose his house.
Let's hope he does not lose his house, dude. I mean, it's just like, again, what are the odds that, a month ago he says this, and here we are, NBA regular season ends tomorrow. They play at 9 p.m. Eastern, and they have 41 wins.
So now if they do get that, so obviously he gets to keep his house, but obviously he won the bet. So how much is he walking away with?
Yeah, I don't know.
I bet nobody really thought about that.
I haven't, yeah.
But you know what I thought you were going to say about the rumor report? There was something circling around, I want to say almost close to about like a month ago. It was very weird. So apparently, I'm going to butcher it a little bit, and some of this is going to be a little bit inaccurate. From what I heard was there was a podcast going on between a certain individual, a male and a female, but was very odd was I guess he was trying to build up hype or some type of like promotion for it, but he was trying to make it front as if the female co-host just up and went missing, and then was like going, hey, if you see so-and-so, I don't remember her name, but like, please let the authorities know, like making a big deal out of it. And it was an all Lakers podcast. So it was very interesting. And then it started to blow up. And next thing you know, they're tweeting Jeannie Buss about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, of course we know so and so. She's a part of the family." Like acting like it's they know her. But eventually, which they found it out, which they cut 2 clips and started, people started digging because they really wanted to find this girl. They think it was him just doing double voices, just him doing a female.
No way.
Yeah, and then it was just a whole misunderstanding. And if they go back and look through this fake Instagram account that this guy created, they're all edited photos, like all Photoshop with a different girl's face on. Like took a WNBA body, like with a jersey, cut, Photoshopped the jersey and another person's face to make as if there was a real person, but there's nobody. It was a whole fiasco. I'll look more into it for you, but it was crazy.
That is crazy. Because I was about to say, like, I mean, I get, most podcasts are just audio only, but at some point, especially of that level.
Especially, too, that was only audio. So it was going straight. There was no visual.
But they saw something on Instagram, though, right? Like, they had an Instagram where
they had, like, a fake Instagram account with Photoshop photos of that girl as if she was a real person. So, you know how, like, we have Instagrams?
Yeah.
It was personal to that person, even though it wasn't a real person.
Okay, so that way he could promote, even on the podcast, this is my Instagram, and it's the girl that's not even
real. Yeah, it was crazy. I'll look more into it for you.
What's
I don't know, but eventually he tried to cover it up and like backtrack. Oh, we found so and so. She's fine, safe, but like we didn't hear from her.
I just wonder what the motivation was for that.
I don't know. It's still like a weird thing going on.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that was the rumor report.
All right, so again, this is the last episode. So Western Conference, Eastern Conference standings, maybe some predictions out of you, out of me, I don't know. But here are where things sit right now. 1.5 days, I guess, left of the regular season. Jazz sitting in first out west, followed by the Suns, the Nuggets, and the Clippers, top 4 in the West. Then everything else is kind of behind that. You got the Mavericks at 5. They're either going to be 5 or 6, it looks like. You got the Trailblazers at 6. Again, Lakers, Warriors, Grizzlies, and Spurs are in. Spurs are 33-37, and they're playing in the play-in tournament. Whatever you would do with that. The Grizzlies, 38-33, same record as the Warriors. So that could potentially be huge, because if the Grizzlies win, the Warriors lose. The Grizzlies can get that 8. The Warriors would be the 9, meaning that the Warriors have one shot. They don't have to win twice. They would have to win twice, not once, which is huge. So how do you feel? Obviously, we've touched on it a little bit, Lakers fan. If the Lakers are healthy, if they're not healthy, how do you see things shaping out west? How many teams can potentially reach the finals in your mind? That kind of thing.
If I know anything to be true, that the West has always been stacked for a very long time with talent.
Yep.
And having the greatest player is great and all, but the age factor is the big variable within this equation, right? So AD also's health issues too. I don't want injuries to really mess up the season, but if we could stay healthy throughout the playoffs, I think we're going to be in a better spot, and I think Andre Drummond's going to start playing better too, just due to the fact he's going to have more confidence with King James out there on the floor.
Yeah.
And we'll have a set of twin towers between him and AD. But I think if LeBron plays phenomenal, there's only a couple of people who I truly believe aren't afraid of LeBron.
Yeah.
That's Kawhi and that's Steph.
Yeah.
Because they have beaten him in the finals. They know he's beatable. But for anyone younger than them or has not beaten them in the playoff series or beaten them in the finals, I think that they're afraid of LeBron the way that people were afraid of Jordan to a certain degree. So I'm hoping we could just not have injuries and we could use straight off King James intimidation and that be perfectly fine. That would be our way to make it to the finals at all. Who, and then for you, like, how do you see it playing out in the East?
East is going to be, I think East is a I would say 3-dog race, but I'm a little worried about the Heat. I just am.
Really?
They're coming on. They're coming into their own. They have the best record in the NBA since like mid-April.
Okay.
So that's about a month. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run. I'm a little worried about them. So I think it's between, again, the Sixers have a chance, Nets have a chance, obviously. The Bucks have a chance, and the Heat. I don't see anyone else doing it this year. Again, that's 4 teams, but and I don't know what order I'd rank them in. But to your point, even in the West, can you imagine if you face LeBron and Anthony Davis back from injury? Maybe they have fresh legs. I don't know. Who knows what's going on out there, and who knows what they're going to look like in the playoffs? We'll know very soon. Game 1, you're going to see. I don't think they'll have much rust. It's LeBron freaking James. Like, I think he'll be all right. But if you're the Jazz or the Suns,
you're gonna fear LeBron.
And as a 1 and 2 seed, you should get rewarded with all this hard work from the NBA regular season. You earned that 1 seed or 2 seed,
and
now you're gonna play LeBron James in the first round. Like, what is up with that?
Would that be technically technically, no. I was going to say...
When he's made the playoffs, it'd be the worst.
I was going to say, no, because I think Dikembe Mutombo upset the Seattle Supersonics one year, and the Nuggets were the 8th seed.
Well, the Warriors did it with Baron Davis and the Mavericks.
So it has been done when 8 seed upsetting the 1.
I think that was an 8-1, yeah.
So if it's possible, that means it's possible to happen again.
But it's LeBron James as an 8 seed now. Like, think about that. They might be favored to win that. I don't know who would give them a tougher time, the Jazz or the Suns. Again, depending on what seed they fall into. If they stick where they're at, and let's say they win that first playing game, they'll get the 7, and they'll play the Suns. So we'll see what happens there. I think the Clippers have a chance. I think the Nuggets are going to miss Jamal Murray. I mean, not having him. Again, I understand Jokic, and he's unbelievable, and the team around him's good, and all that stuff. But I think they're going to have issues.
Yeah, I think injuries really derailed their postseason.
Yeah. Again, they're still sitting at 3, but I think they're going to have issues.
But, I mean, Jokic was doing phenomenal. Of course, he doesn't have his partner in crime in Jamal Murray. So him going off, you could only do that so many times.
And they potentially have a first-round matchup with the Trailblazers. That would be something to see for sure. That'd be must-see TV.
That'd be a dogfight, actually.
Yep.
That'd be a very interesting series.
Yep. So transitioning out east, you got the Sixers at the 1. They clinched last night, finally. You got the Nets and the Bucks. And then everybody else, it falls between seeds 4. There's a 5.5 game gap between seeds 3 and 4. You got the Hawks and the Heat right now at 4-5. You got the Knicks at 6. And then again, the play-in tournament is set in terms of who's going to be there. So let me get this from you. Since we didn't quite go there in the West, who is your favorite in the East? If you had to put money on it right now, who's winning the Eastern Conference?
That's actually going to be something I was just about to tell you about. Who did the Knicks play in the first round? It would be the Hawks, right?
The Knicks right now, and it's close because the Knicks and Heat have the same record. The Heat have the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So the Knicks right now play the Bucks. But
the first round?
Yes.
Oh,
but because they're the 6. But if they get up to that 5, let's say the Heat lose. Heat play the Bucks today, I think.
Okay.
Say the Bucks lose, Knicks win tomorrow, whatever. Then the Knicks get the 5, meaning they play the Hawks. Big difference.
Right. Drastic big difference. The only reason why I asked is a buddy who I work with, we made a bet where if the Knicks play the Hawks in the first round, if they win, I get a jersey of my choice, and if the Knicks win, I buy him a jersey of his choice.
Okay, so he's a Knicks fan?
He's a Knicks fan, yeah,
okay.
Most definitely. And I'm kind of hoping now that that stays that way because I got money on Trae Young just going off on the
You
Knicks.
should try and work that same bet with the Bucks.
That seems a little unfair now. No, I think for me, I think coming out of the East, most definitely, who I would bet 100% at the end of it, Eastern Conference Finals wrap 7-game series, is you guys.
My man.
No, just because
My man.
you guys are a tough team. You guys defensively are great. There's no egos on that team. Of course, Ben Simmons is a great defensive player. That other guy coming off the bench, great defensive player. And Joel Embiid, of course, a defensive monster as well as offense.
Yeah.
But, I think the biggest variable is how well the New Jersey Nets are. New Jersey Nets. That's a little throwback right there. The Brooklyn Nets are how they're going to play realistically because they all haven't played together. And I feel like a chink in their armor, if you would be to say so about them, would be like, I'm kind of hoping that they're all ego driven and they destroy each other, and you guys beat them in a 7-game series, or injuries derail them.
Yeah,
that's the only way I see you guys coming out on top is if those variables kick in.
Okay, but if the Nets play like they can, or they don't have issues.
Oh, goodbye, guys. I'm sorry, but that's
I agree. But that's the thing. They have a high probability of having issues just because they played 6 games together. I think literally the 3 of them.
Well, James Harden doesn't like to step up in big moments. Kyrie thinks the Earth is flat. Kevin Durant is a bullying Michael Rappaport. He wants to fight everybody on site now. I'm kind of with it, to be honest with you, because I think that's who KD really was all along. Yeah. He was just hiding up, trying to be like a sweet, like, Oklahoma kid who loves his mom type thing. No, he's a bully, son. Blake Griffin, I don't know what happened to him.
He had a monster dunk the other day. He had like no dunks like at all before he came to Brooklyn, and then now he's been playing a little better.
Oh, and a good farewell to LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah,
he had a great career.
For sure. Shout out to LaMarcus Aldridge. East is gonna be tough. The one thing that is huge, and again, I'm a little scared of the Heat, a potential matchup with them. I'm hoping the Heat get the 6, so then they'd play. I have to call my grandmother. That's a reminder to call her. The Heat, if they are at the 6, then they play the Bucks in the first round, meaning that they don't play the Sixers in the second round. That's huge. The thing that's big about the 1 seed in the East this year, with the Sixers having that, if all goes according to plan, guess who's going to play in the second round? The Nets and the Bucks. Meaning that the Sixers don't have to beat both of them. They only have to beat one. If the Bucks beat the Nets, they have to beat the Sixers after. If the Nets beat the Bucks, they have to beat the Sixers after. That's tough. Those could be 2 long series. Who would I rather play?
Yeah.
Oh God. I guess the Bucks.
Just because they just don't have as much star power.
Yeah. I mean, again, if I could look in the future and know like the Nets' issues or their injuries, then I might say the Bucks. I mean, I'd rather play the Nets, but I'm just a little scared of that star power and how it can work out in the playoffs.
Well, so correct me if I'm wrong. That's set in stone that they're gonna verse each other.
So, if all goes according to plan, so let's the Nets match up with the Hornets in the first round, and the Bucks play the Knicks. They're probably gonna win, and then they play each other.
Okay.
Winner likely gets the Sixers or the Heat on the other side.
Let's be real here. If that does happen, that's a dogfight, and there will be injuries caused of it.
Yeah.
100%. That's
and
a
then
7-game series.
Yeah, and then they have to play the Sixers.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Which is a tough team. That kind of plays in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 1 seed's huge this year in the East. That's what's going on over there. Manny, you heard it here, predicts the 76ers, if he had to put money on. He's going to say the Sixers in the East. Let's hear who you're taking out of the West, just because why not?
Lakers. I still have faith in the Lakers to make it just due to King James. We've all said it year after year. He's washed up. He's old. But then here he comes in playoff mode, and then steamrolls, and Anthony Davis. There still will always be my pick. Yeah. But you know what I find very funny, though? It's a Sixers and Lakers matchup if all goes according to plan, just like it was back in 2001.
Yep.
And will history repeat itself?
Yep. 2001, that was the last time the Sixers had the 1 seed in the East. For me, the Lakers, and I touched on it a little bit, their first play-in game, potentially, here in just a few days, if we see LeBron against Steph, and we see LeBron and AD, and they're a healthy Lakers team, quote-unquote, I'm going to know what I think about the Lakers after the first quarter of that game.
Yeah.
if LeBron comes out, playing like LeBron can, I'm going to know how I'm going to feel about the Lakers. If LeBron is struggling, if AD's struggling and they're down to the Warriors or whatever, I'm going to know how I feel about the Lakers. I think it's going to, for the entire playoffs, I'm going to say, okay, that's a championship contender. Okay, they didn't have it this year.
All right, cool. Keep that same energy.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's only going to take a couple minutes for me because it only takes a couple minutes for LeBron, to get going or to be halted. So, we'll see. Anything else?
I think we pretty much touched upon everything coming up into the playoffs, really.
Yep. Play-in tournament starts either, I think, Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and then playoffs begin a week from today, I think. Saturday, the 22nd. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. At least they're not in a bubble this year. At least they're on their home courts this year. All that stuff. So this has been the last dance of the Baseline Facetime podcast. Again, Planet 76. This is my promo for you to get over there. There will be episodes next week. Again, focused on the 76ers with my guy Michael from Trust the Love on Instagram. You can follow them if you have any interest in the 76ers. You can follow Trust the Love on Instagram. You'll see some content, and we'll get some info to you via that page as well, just in terms of what's going on with Planet 76 podcast, and I'm excited to transition over there.
Yeah, man. That sounds dope. I mean, you're going to talk about your favorite team all the time.
Exactly.
It's not like you do it already.
I know. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. But
you got a little baby Ben Simmons over there.
It'll be good, yeah. So it's going to be fun. Hope you transition over there. This is the last dance. Thank you from both of us for tuning in whatever capacity that you've tuned in over the last year. We recorded our first episode, which was just hysterically bad to watch and to look at and cringeworthy right now, without a microphone, without anything, without lighting, without...
We shot it on the iPhone 11, right?
Shot it on an iPhone 11, shot it on a couch.
Yep. Was time-lapse on?
That's funny. Oh, yeah. Tell them about that.
So when me and Troy recorded, I think it was episode 3 or...
somewhere there.
Yeah, right around that time. We shot the whole episode done. We wrapped it up, and then we realized it wasn't recording an actual video. It was just on a time-lapse. So it was the whole... No audio, just us zooming by really quickly. And then we had to reshoot the whole video all over again.
We did a reshoot of the video. It was like a 6-second time lapse of a 40-minute episode, and it was just like, dude, I can't believe that.
It was late that night too. You remember?
It was late, and we stuck with it. We did it again. We had a lot of good memories. Just different guests we had on.
Yeah.
Different weird moments like that. Different technical issues. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But we figured it out. And again, if you were a part of that ride, that journey, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
But for the last time, this is the Baseline Facetime Podcast, and we're out.
Get this video to 10,000 views and 10,000 subscribers. Troy will come back just like in a Wizards jersey, like Michael Jordan did.
Peace. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Baseline Facetime Podcast. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.